No one in San Villano Federal Penitentiary, up in northern Mexico, had a clue that the most dangerous man of all was right there, sitting quietly, eating slow, taking every insult without saying a damn word. Still, silent, like all the chaos around him was just background noise, until that silence started to feel heavy, so heavy it turned into a threat. The cafeteria was packed. Metal trays clanged, voices murmured, and that familiar prison tension buzzed in the air when Rafael Toro Medina, the resident tough guy, decided it was time to test the new guy. A walking wall of muscle covered in ink, Medina was famous for smashing a man's face with a single punch. He strutted between tables like he owned the place. Every inmate dropped their gaze when he passed. He stopped behind the newcomer, grabbed a metal bucket filled with ice-cold water from the kitchen sink. The whole place slowed down, like everybody knew what was coming, but nobody dared to stop it. Medina lifted the bucket and dumped it over the new guy's head. Water streamed down his hair, his face, soaking the green uniform. The kid just blinked, took a slow breath and kept eating. Silence, a few snickers, a few eyes fixed on the floor. Medina smirked, set the bucket on the table, and said with that cruel little grin, "Welcome to hell, rookie. Around here I decide who gets to breathe." The kid didn't respond, kept eating like nothing happened. That calm of his hit harder than any punch. Irritated, Medina slapped the plate off the table, food splattering across the floor. Still, the kid didn't move. He just looked up, one slow, cold, unreadable stare. For a second, Medina froze. There was something in that look he couldn't name. Not fear, not anger, control. The whole cafeteria held its breath. Medina laughed once, low. "You scared of me, kid?" Nothing. No word, no blink. The air went thick. Some inmates wanted a show, others just waited for blood. The kid wiped his face with a napkin, stood up slowly, and walked away. No glance back, no rush. His wet boots echoed down the hallway. Medina stood there, jaw tight, watching him leave. "Who the hell does that punk think he is?" he muttered. "He'll learn tomorrow who runs this place." What he didn't know was that the punk he'd just humiliated wasn't some random new fish. The name on that badge, Miguel Arroyo, wasn't there by accident. Behind that calm face and quiet demeanor lived something darker than any solitary cell, something the state itself had tried to bury. Miguel wasn't just another inmate. He was a serial killer. A man who'd learned to hunt before he ever learned to run, who knew the human body like a surgeon knows his instruments, who carried a stillness that always came right before death. The sun over San Villano beat down on the yard. Inmates paced in circles, played cards, traded stares. Everyone knew that day wouldn't end peacefully. Since that cafeteria scene, Toro Medina had been seething. That indifference, the frozen stare, the unshaken calm, burned him from the inside out. In this prison, respect was earned through fear, and no one had ever ignored him like that. When Miguel stepped into the yard, the noise died. He walked slow, eyes distant, hands clasped behind his back, looked detached. But every guard, every inmate could feel it. Something was about to break. Medina spotted him and grinned through clenched teeth. "There's the miracle boy," he growled. "Time to finish what we started." He nodded to two goons. 3 shadows moved through the crowd, clearing space. Nobody interfered. In San Villano, fights were theater and blood was currency. Miguel stopped when he heard the footsteps. Didn't turn, didn't need to. Medina came within a few feet, sunlight carving lines across his scarred face. "You think you can ignore me, punk?" he spat. No answer. The rookie stayed still, fingertips brushing the concrete like he was feeling the air. Medina snapped. He shoved the kid's shoulder hard. "Look at me when I'm talking to you, damn it." Miguel slowly raised his head. His eyes were empty. No fear, no anger, just nothing. The kind of eyes you don't get in prison. You bring them with you. Even Medina's grin faltered. One of his men lunged from behind. A sharp crack cut through the yard. The guy's arm bent the wrong way, and he dropped, screaming. Medina froze. Miguel hadn't used brute force, just a tiny, precise movement, surgical. The second goon swung. Miguel's counter was a blur. One hit to the gut and the man folded before anyone even registered it. The yard stopped moving. Medina stepped back. "What the hell are you?" he hissed. Miguel took 2 steps forward, half his face swallowed by shadow. "The silence you mocked yesterday," he said quietly, "is the same one swallowing you now." Medina drew a shank from his waistband, hidden from the guards. But before he could lift it, Miguel was behind him. A muffled thud, a precise strike to the neck. Medina staggered, blade clattering, knees giving out. The entire yard went dead silent. No one saw how the kid moved that fast. Miguel knelt, picked up the blade, placed it back in Medina's trembling hand, like returning borrowed property. "Here's your control," he whispered. "Keep it, if you can." Medina collapsed face first, gasping for air. Guards blew whistles. Inmates backed off. Miguel stepped away slowly, hands raised, expression calm. And that same silence from his first day returned, deeper now, heavier. From that moment on, no one called Miguel Arroyo new guy. No one provoked him. No one even looked him in the eye. The cafeteria, the yard, the cells, everyone learned the same truth. His silence wasn't weakness. It was a warning. Miguel Arroyo had been transferred to San Villano for a reason even the prison's own administrators couldn't quite explain. The paperwork came sealed, no medical records, no psychological evaluations, just a thin criminal file, first-degree murder, multiple victims, no chance of appeal. But that was just the surface. The truth about Miguel wasn't written down anywhere. It lived in the silences, in the tiny details, in his eyes. Cell 39, where they placed him after the yard incident, sat apart from the main blocks. Only 2 guards were authorized to get near it. One of them, Officer Romero, an old military man who'd seen everything, couldn't shake the unease Miguel gave him. It wasn't fear, it wasn't aggression. It was the complete absence of emotion. "He doesn't blink when you talk to him," Romero once told a colleague. "Feels like talking to an empty mirror." Miguel never asked questions, never made requests. He woke up at the same time every day, washed his face for exactly 20 seconds, precise, mechanical movements, then sat in front of the wall, waiting for something only he could see. But the strangest thing, no one ever saw him sleep. Inmates in nearby cells began whispering, "That guy's not right. He just sits there all night. Doesn't move, not even a twitch. Doesn't snore, doesn't breathe loud, just exists." While most tried to ignore his presence, 2 people inside San Villano couldn't. Warden Rodolfo Zarate and Padre Chuy, a former priest turned inmate, once convicted for arms trafficking, now seen as the prison's spiritual counselor. Zarate was a pragmatic man. He hated surprises. When Miguel's case landed on his desk, he started digging. He called the prosecutor's office, checked federal databases. Nothing, all locked down. Only one note stood out, unsigned, typed, and deeply unsettling. "He's not for rehabilitation, he's not for punishment, just keep him contained, and never, ever, leave him alone with anyone for too long." Padre Chuy, though, saw Miguel differently. Since the fight with Toro Medina, he'd been watching him, not as a priest, but as someone who'd stared into darkness before. One afternoon, he approached him in the yard, not to preach, but to probe. "You've got a big spirit following you, mijo," he said quietly. "Big and heavy." Miguel looked at him, just that. "Sometimes," Chuy added, "we don't carry the ones we killed. We carry the ones who left us alive." And in that moment, the priest saw it. Death wasn't a memory in Miguel's eyes. It was a presence. Rumors spread like wildfire. Some said Miguel was an ex-cartel soldier who'd lost his mind. Others whispered he'd been trained by a special ops unit. The darker rumor was the one everyone believed. They say he killed 12 with his bare hands and made sure to look every single one in the eye before they died. That wasn't true. The number was much higher, but no one dared ask. After Toro Medina's fall, the prison's delicate order collapsed. The underground hierarchy, power, loyalty, fear, shattered. San Villano turned volatile overnight. Gangs fought for dominance, alliances shifted, and paranoia filled the air. And in the middle of it all, Miguel Arroyo remained untouched, or at least he seemed to. But something was changing. In the West Wing, a man named Santiago El Gato Ledesma, former leader of Los de Abajo, started running his mouth. Said Miguel was nothing but a psycho in over his head, a coward who hid behind silence. Maybe it was pride, maybe it was fear pretending to be courage. Either way, nobody expected him to be dumb enough to act on it. The morning after, guards found Santiago unconscious on the laundry room floor. Broken nose, dislocated jaw, 2 fingers bent the wrong way, no signs of a struggle. Just one strange detail. Blood on Miguel's bootlaces, and only his footprints in the puddle. When questioned, Miguel said calmly, "I just washed my uniform." No emotion, no tone, just words. Warden Zarate gathered his staff that evening and said only one thing. From now on, Miguel Arroyo never shares a shift or space with another inmate. Not for 30 seconds. But it was already too late. The legend had spread. The serial killer wasn't a rumor anymore. It was gospel. The stares changed. Curiosity turned to calculation. Some wanted to stay out of his way. Others saw opportunity. That's when Ramon Rata Delgado, leader of the biggest prison faction, came up with a dangerous idea. Recruit Miguel. Not out of respect, but control. Rata ruled through blackmail and manipulation, a short man with quick eyes and a venomous tongue. He didn't approach Miguel himself, sent one of his lackeys instead, a nervous kid named Fito. Fito did what nobody else dared, sat across from Miguel at lunch. "Hey man, Rata wants to talk. Could be good for you, you know. Protection, better food, access." Miguel slowly lifted his eyes. Fito froze, his voice cracked. The air between them felt heavier. "I'm not for sale," Miguel said, calm but final, like the drop before an abyss. That night, Rata sent 2 men to scare him. They never made it back. By morning, their bodies were found stacked neatly in the kitchen storage room. No bruises, no blood. Just their eyes, wide open, as if they'd seen something that froze them solid before death. The official report called it a gang dispute. No one believed it. Fear had a name now. Miguel. San Villano turned into a silent survival game. Even the guards treated him with an odd formality, as if saying his name too loud might summon something. From a distance, Padre Chuy murmured to Romero, "The prison's a temple now. And that man, he's the demon we all pretended didn't exist." But not everyone bowed to that fear. Enter Lieutenant Ignacio Almaraz, freshly transferred from a military prison in Hermosillo. Young, idealistic, arrogant. He believed San Villano just needed a firm hand, and that Miguel Arroyo was nothing but another inmate myth. "This Arroyo guy? Just another ghost story for cons," he scoffed, "and I don't scare easy." Against every warning, he ordered Miguel brought in for a private interrogation. 2 armed guards stood by the wall as Almaraz leaned across the table. "Your file's a damn black hole," he said, "and where there's a hole, there's rot." Silence. "What are you hiding, Arroyo?" Miguel's eyes drifted to the clock on the wall. "Scared to talk?" More silence. "Answer me, you piece of shit!" Almaraz grabbed Miguel by the collar, yanking him up, and the clock fell. No one touched it, no reason, just crash. The sound broke the tension. Miguel's voice came calm, quiet. "Sometimes the universe gives warnings to those who don't know how to hear silence." 2 days later, Lieutenant Almaraz was transferred for psychiatric treatment after a sudden nervous breakdown. He refused to speak of what happened, only repeated over and over, "Those eyes, that wasn't human." By the third week, San Villano had changed. Power no longer belonged to muscle, gangs, or guards. It belonged to fear. And fear had a face: Miguel Arroyo. In the heart of San Villano, the prison's fragile order began to rot quietly from the inside. The old factions, once solid, feared, unshakable, were crumbling. With their leaders gone and reputations shattered, paranoia became the air everyone breathed. But beneath the visible fear, something even more dangerous was spreading: curiosity. And it came from where no one expected. In the medical wing, Dr. Isabella Rivas, a young psychiatrist new to the prison system, had been told one thing: stay away from Miguel Arroyo. Naturally, that only made her more intrigued. She didn't see what the guards saw. She didn't see what the inmates whispered about. To her, he wasn't a monster. He was a mystery, a clinical anomaly, a mind that didn't fit any known pattern. "You don't get it," she told Warden Zarate. "This man isn't just a killer. He operates on a level of awareness that borders on the impossible. He doesn't feel guilt. He doesn't feel pleasure. He just observes." Zarate cut her short. "He's not here to be understood. He's here to be contained." But Isabella didn't back down. She filed an official request for a psychological evaluation. Against the warden's better judgment, it was approved. Inside a glass observation room wired with hidden mics, she faced him for the first time. Miguel sat upright, hands resting neatly on his knees. "You want to know who I am," he said before she even asked a question. "But you don't want to understand me. You just want to define me." She hesitated. "Why would you say that?" Miguel smiled faintly, a smile without warmth. "Because people like you think evil needs a reason. And when it doesn't, you call it a disorder." The conversation lasted less than 20 minutes. But it was long enough for Isabella to walk out pale, trembling, checking her own pulse, as if to make sure she was still alive. Meanwhile, Padre Chuy's presence among the inmates was growing. Not because of faith, but because he was the only one who could still talk to Miguel without shaking. "He's like the old fire," Chuy would say, "the one that came before light itself." Some prisoners began following him, not as believers, but as men desperate to understand the terror surrounding them. An unspoken circle formed, a kind of silent cult that watched Miguel from afar, not out of devotion, but as if trying to appease something ancient and dangerous rather than confront it. But not everyone bowed down. In the North Block, a breakaway faction was forming under Bruno El Carnicero Morales, a former cartel hitman and now the main drug distributor inside the prison. Bruno didn't believe in myths. He believed in blood. "He bleeds. Then he can die," he told his crew. The plan was simple: lure Miguel into the infirmary and ambush him. 5 men, improvised weapons, tranquilizers, not to kill him, to make him scream. "We'll show this freak who runs San Villano." But Miguel knew before it even started. Not because anyone told him. He just heard it, a wrong word in the cafeteria, a whisper too careful in the showers. Fear has its own language, and it doesn't need to be loud to be understood. The day of the ambush, Miguel never showed up. Instead, Bruno vanished. 2 hours later, they found his body behind the industrial kitchen. No cuts, no bullets, no visible wounds. Just the eyes, open, and one detail missing: his tongue. The silence that followed wasn't just fear. It was recognition. Recognition of something no one dared to name. While the prison was tightening under Miguel's shadow, outside, someone had started digging. Renata Salcedo, an investigative journalist known for exposing buried stories in the Mexican prison system, stumbled across one name that made her stop: Miguel Arroyo. Not because of his crimes, but because of the absence of everything else. "He doesn't exist," she said in her underground podcast. No criminal record, no hospital files, no civilian ID before 2015. It's like he just appeared out of nowhere, and the state's covering it up. Renata started pulling threads, interviewing former wardens, ex-guards, and families of forgotten victims. What she found was terrifying. 14 disappearances across different states, each victim found the same way. Eyes open, expression frozen, no signs of struggle. Every crime scene shared one thing: silence. No one heard a thing, no cameras caught movement. And the most chilling part, each scene showed the same eerie order, everything placed, arranged. As if someone had been studying the moment, Renata became obsessed. San Villano didn't imprison a murderer, she said in her latest episode. They caged a predator. Inside the prison, all eyes turned to Miguel, but he remained exactly where he'd always been, sitting still, in silence, waiting. Only now, even the walls seemed to feel it. The tension, the presence, the certainty that something much bigger was about to happen. The air was thick, oppressive. For the second night in a row, the power generator sputtered and died. Lights flickered, ceiling fans turned sluggishly. A low, feverish hum ran through the halls, as if the prison itself was sick. At 3:17 a.m., a scream shattered the silence. Not a normal scream, short, sharp, cut off halfway, like someone had sliced the sound itself. Guards sprinted toward the cell of Jairo Mendoza, a member of Los de Abajo, and one of Toro Medina's old lieutenants. The cell was locked from the inside. When they broke the door down, they found Jairo curled in a fetal position, eyes wide open, hands over his face. No wounds, no blood, no struggle. Only one thing scrawled on the wall, written in black grease from the cell's pipes. He's listening. The prison went into full lockdown. Warden Zarate called his superiors. No one could explain how a man could die like that, inside a locked cell. But Miguel knew, and he was smiling. The next morning brought something no one expected. Miguel Arroyo had a visitor. Whispers spread like wildfire. A visitor? He's got no family on record. Who the hell would come see him? In the glass interrogation room, guards posted, cameras rolling. Miguel sat down. Across the glass sat a woman, not a journalist, not a lawyer, no name in the system, just a sealed order from Mexico City's Ministry of Justice. She had that kind of face. Calm, unreadable, eyes like ice. The look of someone who'd seen more bodies than birthdays. Her voice came through the intercom, steady and cold. Miguel Arroyo. Or should I call you by another name? Miguel just smiled. She opened a folder, crime scene photos, numbers, reports. You were never sentenced, she said. You were buried, hidden in the system. But now, they want you back. Silence. We've got a bigger problem out there, she continued. And no one who can handle it except you. Outside the room, guards exchanged uneasy glances. Her final words changed everything. They think they locked you away. But the truth is, we put you exactly where you needed to be. She tapped the glass twice and walked out without looking back. Days later, Miguel began to change. Not in behavior, he remained calm, quiet, methodical. But the air around him changed. His cell was renovated, new cameras installed, unknown guards rotated in at odd hours. Files started showing new security codes, orders circulating above Zarate's pay grade. Padre Chuy noticed first. They're messing with things they don't understand, he muttered. Dr. Isabella Rivas noticed too. She tried to schedule another session with Miguel. Denied. Then a new name appeared in the system, Hector Albaran, a former Mexican intelligence agent who'd been missing for 4 years. Now listed as a political prisoner. His cell, right next to Miguel's. On the first night when the block went silent, Miguel spoke, never raised his voice, never turned his head. I know who you are, he said. I know who you are too. Hector replied. For 23 minutes they talked. No one could hear the words, but the guards watching the monitors saw Hector's heart rate spike to 180 and then flatline for 5 seconds. He didn't die, but whatever Miguel said broke something inside him, something trained soldiers aren't supposed to lose. The next night, the lights failed again, this time intentionally. 7 inmates, all tied to Bruno Morales, stormed the isolation wing with help from a bribed guard. The plan? Kill Miguel Arroyo once and for all. When they reached his cell, the door was open. Miguel was gone. Every camera feed wiped clean. 22 minutes later, all 7 men were dead. No noise, no witnesses, no weapons. Only one piece of evidence survived, a background audio file. In it, a faint, steady breathing, followed by a whisper, "Silence is when the gods are watching." The government shut San Villano down for internal inspection. Officially, structural failure. Unofficially, a containment breach. Zarate was removed from command. Dr. Rivas vanished. Padre Chuy locked himself away in voluntary isolation. And Miguel, his cell stood empty. No one saw him leave. No transfer papers. No trace. But the next morning, scrawled in the same black grease on the main corridor wall, appeared a new message. The silence you caged now walks free. 48 hours after the bodies were found, San Villano Federal Penitentiary was fully evacuated. The official story, an internal riot, risk of collapse. But everyone who'd lived there knew the truth. There was no riot, no fight. Only Miguel. Behind closed doors, the government whispered. Secret reports passed between intelligence agencies and unnamed departments. The name Miguel Arroyo was replaced with a new code, Shadow 12. He was never just a prisoner, a colonel told the Minister of Defense. He was the containment plan, and now the plan's gone rogue. Meanwhile, investigative journalist Renata Salcedo disappeared for 4 days. When she resurfaced, she posted a single message on her website. He didn't escape. He was released. And now, he's where he's always been. Where no one ever looks. In the silence. The post went viral for a few hours, then vanished. Her profile deleted. Her last recovered audio recording, saved by an anonymous listener, carried her trembling voice. He's here. He saw me. He heard me before I even spoke. Elsewhere, the surviving inmates of San Villano were scattered across federal facilities. Among them, Padre Chuy, mute, literally. Medical report, acute psychological collapse. He spends his days drawing with charcoal. Always the same image, a man seen from behind, standing alone in an endless hallway. Former warden Rodolfo Zarate was interrogated for 5 straight days. He answered everything with short sentences, eyes fixed on the floor. But at the end of the final session, he muttered one line that never made it into the report. If he comes back, you won't have anywhere left to hide the living. Up near the northern border, strange cases began surfacing. Silent killings, no signs of struggle. Eyes wide open in terror, authorities blamed the cartels, but those who knew Miguel knew better. This wasn't cartel work, this was precision, this was instinct, a predator with a pulse, a ghost made of flesh. Dr. Isabella Rivas didn't vanish. She ran, crossed the border under a new name, new life. But every night at 3:17 a.m., the time of that first death, she wakes up drenched in sweat, hearing footsteps behind the wall. She knows he's alive. She can feel it. Back in cell 39, the one Miguel once occupied, a new inmate, a petty thief, lasted only 2 days. On the 3rd, he begged for a transfer. Said someone whispered his name at night, even with the doors locked. When questioned, he screamed, "He never left. He's still here. He's in the pipes. He hears everything." They moved him to the psychiatric ward. Now, he doesn't speak. He just stares at the ceiling and repeats one sentence over and over. He is the silence. No, At the highest levels of government, a new operation began, Project Echo. Not to find Miguel, to erase him, to erase everything. Files destroyed, names changed, cameras removed. San Villano deleted from the official record. The abandoned prison stands fenced off, surrounded by sensors and remote surveillance, but no one goes inside. Not the soldiers, not the technicians. They say you can still hear footsteps in the halls, a whisper, a breath that doesn't belong. But maybe the real horror isn't what happened inside San Villano. Maybe it's what started happening outside, because now the killings don't follow patterns. No timeline, no target. Every scene looks the same. Nothing broken, nothing forced, just one body and the silence. Stories usually paint redemption as a path toward the light, where the hero faces his demons, learns from his scars, and finds peace. But Miguel Arroyo didn't need saving. He didn't want to change. It was the world that would have to adapt to him. Since his departure from San Villano, Miguel's trail had turned into echoes, fragments, shadows, traces that moved just beyond the edge of perception. Each new disappearance was his silent signature. No fingerprints, no blood, no witnesses. The first confirmed victim after San Villano was Dr. Alvaro Quintana, a former military psychiatrist, last seen in downtown Monterrey. Cameras caught him entering his car. The car was never found. Only a laminated slip of paper was left on the asphalt, scrawled by hand. You saw what you shouldn't have. The second was a federal prosecutor linked to the prison system. The third, a retired colonel, and the list kept growing. Miguel watched, studied, learned, but his evolution wasn't physical or even tactical. It was mental. During the long, sleepless nights inside San Villano, Miguel had learned the system's rhythm, not just its surveillance or routines, but its people. He studied how fear spreads, how order collapses when no one can locate the source of danger. His growth became an art form, a refinement of existence itself. He'd made himself less visible, less human, more idea than man. In Tijuana, a retired guard named Vicente Leal reported something disturbing. He said he'd been followed for weeks, never saw anyone, never heard a sound, until one day at home he found a note inside his cold oven. You laughed when I bled. Now you cook with silence. Leal vanished 3 days later. The only thing left behind was a glass of water spilled across the kitchen table. Nothing else. Meanwhile, outside Mexico, Interpol quietly assembled a task force for what they called clean deaths. Killings with no visible cause, no forced entry, no struggle, but eerily similar psychological patterns. In each case, one cryptic phrase appeared, written in impossible places, on fogged glass, car windshields, even the inside of boots. Always about silence. Always chilling. Miguel was no longer just a fugitive, he was an archetype. The streets whispered his name, the alleys, the pirate radio stations, the hidden threads on the deep web. There's someone out there who hunts hunters. He only appears when the noise disappears. If you hear nothing, it might already be too late. Among criminals, corrupt officers, and dirty politicians, his name became a warning. They didn't know if Miguel was real, but they feared the possibility. For Miguel, the world had become another prison block, open, sprawling, full of flaws to correct. He didn't have to kill to survive anymore. Now he chose. He tested, he taught, because to him, every death was a lesson. The world had mocked his silence, had tested his patience, just like Rafael Toro Medina had that first day in the cafeteria. Now the world would learn to shut up. Miguel no longer saw himself as a man, not even as a killer. He saw himself as an absence, a necessary void. The balance of a scale where the noise of corruption, brutality, and arrogance needed something relentlessly quiet to strike back. Miguel had become that, the counter-echo, the mute response. While task forces hunted ghosts, Miguel kept his precise routine, just like in San Villano, up before dawn, 20 seconds washing his face, belongings arranged in perfect symmetry. Then he listened. He didn't need to be fast, or strong, or cruel. He just needed patience. And the world, loud, arrogant, and full of itself, was about to learn that the greatest terror isn't the scream. It's the silence that follows. In a dark government office in Mexico City, two men sat under fluorescent light, reviewing a freshly delivered dossier. At the top of the document, one line, Miguel Arroyo, classification irrecoverable. Below it, a red stamp, level 6, total existence restriction. He should be dead, or he never should have been released. Those were the only words spoken before they signed a new order. Silent hunt, full autonomy, terminate without capture, the kind of order governments pretend they don't issue. Soon after, Miguel's name began reappearing in the strangest places. A coded message appeared inside the security system of Altamira Penitentiary. No one saw who typed it. The message read, "Cell 39 belongs to silence. Don't repeat the mistake." Days later, a retired police officer was found dead at home. Art untouched, but the cardiac monitor showed something unnatural. His pulse had simply stopped, as if he'd decided to stop living. On the bathroom mirror, written in fog, "Still breathing too loud." Across the city, journalist Renata Salcedo, the only person to survive direct contact with Miguel, came out of hiding. She recorded a 4-minute video. No makeup, no edits, just her face, pale, terrified. "I'm not here to tell you where he is. I'm here to tell you he already knows where you are. The question isn't if he'll appear, it's when." The video vanished an hour later, but it was enough. Panic spread through politicians, police, ex-guards, anyone who'd ever crossed Miguel's path. He didn't have to act anymore. Fear did the work for him until someone challenged it. A congressman, a loudmouth behind prison privatization deals, posted publicly, "Silence doesn't scare anyone. Miguel Arroyo is just a bedtime story for criminals. Myths don't bleed." 2 days later, the congressman cancelled every event. He locked himself inside his home. At his doorstep, police found a box. Inside, a single recorder, playing the sound of him sleeping. No one knew how Miguel had entered, or when, but he'd been there, and he didn't need to say a word. His presence was the threat. Meanwhile, Project Echo, the government's operation to erase Miguel's existence, accelerated. But something was off. Agents vanished, data wiped itself, files deleted from secured servers. Someone, or something, was dismantling the project from within. And then the realization came. Miguel wasn't running. He was coming back. To San Villano. Thermal satellites picked up movement around the ruins of the old prison. Human heat signatures, no break-ins, no breaches. The facility was supposed to be abandoned. But Cell 39 had light. Infrared cameras caught a motionless figure in the center of the yard. Miguel had returned, not as a fugitive, not as a prisoner, but as the warden of his own silence, the living echo of what San Villano had tried to bury. Intelligence teams prepped a final mission: enter, eliminate, seal it for good. No one volunteered to lead. The name Miguel Arroyo wasn't listed in any official record, but every soldier knew. They knew the stories, the massacre, the lieutenant who went insane. The 7 bodies left untouched and bloodless. Silence to those men meant certain death. The night before the incursion, one officer received a call. Unknown number. A quiet voice said only, "You think you're coming in?" Then the line went dead. The next day, none of the convoys reached their destination. All vehicles stopped 17 kilometers from San Villano. Navigation systems crashed, radios filled with static. And every soldier, every one of them, heard the same sound in their heads, The gentle clink of a fork against a metal plate. Slow, rhythmic, like the beginning of everything. The stage for the end was set. But what followed wasn't a battle. Miguel didn't fight. He demonstrated. He reminded the world of something it had forgotten. The worst thing you can face is someone with no hurry, no revenge, no fame, just silence. And in that game, Miguel had already won. Night fell over the silent valley where San Villano had been buried alive. The wind slid through the ruins of what once was the main block, carrying dust, forgotten stories, and something thicker, older, present. At exactly midnight, the perimeter lights flickered, then died. 20 kilometers away at the remote control base, every camera feed went dark. Technicians scrambled to reboot the system. Nothing. Then on every screen, grey letters appeared over a black background. Cell 39 was never locked. You just turned off the lights. 2 helicopters lifted off. Simple plan. Aerial sweep, thermal scan, no ground contact. But as they neared the exclusion zone, sensors failed, images froze, and then the sound vanished. "Control, this is Falcon 1. We've lost audio," the pilot said, voice tightening. The co-pilot stared at the radar, his face drained of color. "Something's moving." On the roof. The pilot raised his binoculars, nothing but cracked concrete, then a flicker, a reflection, a small mirror catching the moonlight. That was the last visual before the chopper went down. No explosion, no fire. It simply shut off mid-air, as if the machine itself decided to stop existing. Hours later, a containment team went in by land. For the first time in years, San Villano's gates creaked open. Silence, total, no animals, no wind. Only the warped skeleton of the prison, and the feeling that something inside the darkness was awake and watching. The soldiers advanced in formation, weapons raised, sensors blinking green. But nothing beeped, no heat signatures, no motion. Then one soldier spotted something on the ground of the main corridor, a fork, perfectly clean, resting on a faded green uniform. Miguel's uniform, but the badge, gone. In the control room, an old TV, supposedly dead for years, flickered to life. Grainy black and white footage filled the screen, a full cafeteria, inmates talking, guards walking, metal clattering. "Old archive feed?" one soldier asked. But it wasn't. Among the blurred figures, one was clear, sitting still, calm, fork in hand. Miguel, center frame, eating, watching. The operator tried to shut it off. Nothing worked. The image held. Then Miguel turned his head, looked straight into the camera, and smiled. Outside, the mission commander's encrypted phone lit up. No caller ID, no voice, just a live video feed of his own team from above, as if someone was filming from the prison ceiling. In the corner of the frame, the glint of a mirror. Inside the main hall, cell 39 stood open. On the floor, drawn in soot, was a map. Not of the prison, but of the entire country. Marked points everywhere. Cities, military bases, courthouses, train stations. And in the center, a single circle labeled Origin. Then it clicked. Miguel never escaped. He never had to. San Villano had always belonged to him. He'd let himself be captured, to learn, to absorb, to turn the prison into a laboratory, and every man inside it into an experiment, every inmate, every guard, every psychologist, every visitor, all variables in a larger test. And now the testing phase was over. The application had begun. As special forces scrambled to evacuate, radio signals started erupting across the country, simultaneous transmissions from dozens of regions, encrypted messages, identical, each one saying only, "He who controls fear controls the world. He who controls silence no longer needs to scream." They couldn't trace the source. Worse, they came from inside federal institutions, Hospitals, police stations, courthouses, military schools. The system itself was infected. Miguel was no longer a man. He was code, a presence, a pattern. The commander received his final order: destroy the facility. No retrieval, no survivors. He pressed the remote detonator. The screen flashed back a single line: access denied. Then another: cell 39 is open. The world is the block now. Sleep well. The last surviving camera feed caught a lone figure walking down the dirt road, hands behind his back, unhurried. Miguel. No uniform, no chains, no fear, just walking home. San Villano was officially sealed. No explosion, no demolition, just closed. Unable to explain the disappearances, the data leaks, and the unexplainable failures, the government declared it a biological contamination zone. A clumsy lie. Few believed it. None questioned it, because everyone, deep down, knew what had escaped. The outside world carried on, routine headlines, trials, politics, but a new kind of fear seeped through the cracks. A fear not of weapons, not of war, but of what isn't said, of what isn't seen, of what makes no sound. Reports began crossing borders: deaths with no cause, sudden neurological collapse, moments of total silence before fatal events. Intelligence agencies in Mexico, the US, and Europe created internal codes for them, cases linked by one trait. Each victim had tried to control, suppress, or mock something beyond comprehension. They called it the Arroyo effect, but never said the full name in reports, because saying the name was invoking the idea. And invoking the idea meant being noticed. Miguel Arroyo was never seen again, never captured, never appeared on any camera since San Villano. But sometimes people still reported things: a chair sliding by itself in an empty diner, a note left inside a locked home, a whisper behind a wall with no one there, and then silence. Always silence. He wasn't running, he was present, not as a criminal, but as another kind of justice, a balance, dark, precise. Miguel Arroyo became the warning, a reminder that the world had talked too much, shouted too loud, ignored too long, and now it listens, with fear, with caution, with reverence. A small boy in a rural Mexican classroom sat quietly during art class. While his classmates drew trees, houses, and smiling faces, he drew a man standing alone in a long, dark hallway. The teacher leaned over. "Who's that? Your father?" He shook his head. "No. He comes when people talk too much." The boy smiled, innocent, but his eyes already knew too much. In the corner of the drawing, 3 crooked words read, "Miguel was here. If you made it this far, take a breath and listen." In a world that never stops shouting, maybe true power belongs to the one who stays quiet, watching, waiting, deciding. Miguel Arroyo isn't just a character, he's a reflection of the fear we choose to ignore until it's too late. Share this story with someone who talks too much, or with someone who's forgotten how to listen to what isn't said. And remember, not every silence means peace. Sometimes it's the final warning.